Welcome to the Purple Party known as Purple Nerd Channel, home for all those who geek out on all things Prince related. Madhouse 8 was released on January 19th, 1987, peaking at number 25 on the R&B charts and producing the single 6, which made it to number 5 on the R&B charts. Madhouse was advertised as Eric Leeds' band, with Eric Leeds as the band leader and a collection of fictitious musicians. The songs were credited as written and produced by Madhouse, with the publishing credited to Paris Songs or Paris Songs, with further convincing from the album notes, claiming that the songs were recorded at Madhouse Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and not including any photos of the band on the cover or in the liner notes, but instead featuring model Manisa Leitner, with the truth being that Madhouse was Eric Leeds and Prince. Eric Leeds played tenor and baritone sax as well as flute, while Prince played drums, bass, piano, and all the other instruments. All the songs were written and produced by Eric Leeds and Prince, with the recording being done at Prince's home studio over the course of 4 days in the fall of 1986. But as far as this album being released in 1987 was a really busy year for Prince, as he not only released this album, but also his double album Sign the Times, as well as additional releases that he contributed to, like Sheila E.'s self-titled album, and the debut albums from Jill Jones and Taja Seville, and even a second Madhouse album. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and dive into this album. We open up with One. So with this first song, we get our first taste of the production and musical levels of composition that this album will be delivering. Eric Leeds holds down the melody with his saxophone, while Prince is showing off on the drums. This song presents several traditional jazz elements, but also introduces other pieces of music, like the atmospheric synth chords in the background. Next is 2. We get more of a funk-based groove on this one, with a lot of undistinguishable discussions being played out in the background. Almost like the band is playing in a club where they're being completely ignored by the audience, as they're having their own discussions with one another. And what I can pick up in places is that the conversations are actually about the band, and there's a few discussions I can kind of hear where they're discussing like musical theory. Next is 3. So even though this is a Madhouse record, we still follow the Prince formula of giving the people 2 jams and then the third song being a ballad. And let me tell you, this is a beautiful ballad being performed perfectly with Eric Leeds' saxophone just singing its heart out. And strangely enough, with this being an instrumental like all the songs on this album, the saxophone is using no words, but I can completely understand what the saxophone is saying. And I completely understand every little naughty thing it's singing about. Although the way this song is layered and produced, it makes me wonder if there is a version of this song with actual lyrics on it. But in my research, I couldn't find anything, so I guess there's not, or it's really, really deep in the vault. Next is 4. All I gotta say is the drums, the drums, the drums. I mean, Prince is putting his foot through that drum set. But then we also get a series of solos by Prince on piano and bass throughout the song, as if those two instruments are having a duel played by the same person. The song also features a snippet of Vanity performing an orgasm. This comes from the unreleased Vanity 6 song Vibrator. Prince would reuse this snippet on his album Come, released in 1994. Next is 5. This song comes in at a frantic pace, with some super funky sax work over a high BPM drum performance. The song features a collection of phone call like hellos and responses, with no particular theme connecting them. But it does sound though as if Prince is performing all the parts, but with different effects added to his voice for each line. Next is 6. Now then, this song right here, I gotta be honest with you, all I'm hearing is a funkier version of Girls and Boys, which was part of Prince's 1986 release, Parade. Mama, girls and boys. But aside from that comparison, this song is flat out amazing and is my favorite song on this album. And apparently Prince's and Eric Leeds, as this was the only single released from this album. Next is 7. This song features the full clip of Vandy's orgasm that I mentioned earlier on the song 4. The song has a frantic pace with some amazing drum work by Prince. Eric really gives the song melody with his saxophone work, while every instrument on this song actually gets a solo. Closing out with a melody that for some reason makes me think of all the Charlie Brown holiday specials. We close the album out with 8. So this song is really unusual the way it starts off, as it just starts off with Prince's distorted voice doing the kick and Eric Leeds on flute. Before we get some synth chords added and some other instruments. And the way this song again starts off, and as these different elements of instruments starts coming in, it sounds really odd and very peculiar, but it has me on the edge of my seat trying to figure out where this song is going to go musically. And as it builds these different layers, it's almost like each layer is giving a different human emotion. As it starts off with almost like a little bit of sadness, yet a beautiful sadness. And by the end of the song, once all the layers have been put together, it ends in splendid joy. Which it takes a lot of talent to compose a song that takes you through all the human emotions without any lyrics to guide you. So to be upfront and honest, I was not expecting so many classical jazz elements on this album, as honestly I thought I was going to get a collection of unused Prince instrumentals. But I was pleasantly surprised by the complex grooves based in funk and jazz, making one of the best combinations since peanut butter and chocolate. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Please like and share this video, and if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow. And of course, down in the description below, I will have all the other places you can find me on social media. And I will see you on the next episode where I talk about the second release from Madhouse. And until that next episode, I wish you heaven.